Hi, this is King of Review. How many intersections will these equations make? Y equals 2x and y equals 1/2 x squared minus 1. One method for solving this problem is to graph both of these equations on the same coordinate plane and then count how many times they intersect. So let's do that. We have y equals 2x for the first equation and y equals 1/2 x squared minus 1. Now you can also use a graphing calculator to graph these equations and then see how many times they intersect. But here I'll graph by hand. So I'm making a table of values for each of these equations. This will give us the points that we need to graph on the coordinate plane. For this first equation, I'm going to choose the points 0, 1, 2, -1, and -2 for the x values. You can choose whichever x values you want. Now I'm going to plug in each of these x values into the equation y equals 2x, and then I'll solve for y. When x equals 0, I have y equals 2 times 0. This gives me a y value of 0. So the point 0, 0 is on my graph. When x equals 1, I have y equals 2 times 1, which equals 2. So the point 1, 2 is on my graph. When x equals 2, I get a y value of 4. When I plug in a -1 for x, I get a y value of -2. And when I plug in a -2 for x, I get -4 for y. So let's plot these on a coordinate plane. I have my x-axis here and my y-axis here. Okay, now I'm ready to plot these points. I have a point at 0, 0, which is right here. I have a point at 1, 2, which is right here. I have a point at 2, 4. I have a point at -1, -2, which is right about here. I have a point at -2, -4, which is right about here. So now I'll use these data points to fill in the graph, and you can see that it's a line. And here's the graph of the line. Now let's plot y equals 1/2 x squared minus 1. And I'll need some data points to do this. I'm choosing the x values of 0, 1, 2, -1, and -2. Again, you could choose whichever x values you want. When x equals 0, I have y equals 1/2 times 0 squared minus 1. This gives me a y value of -1. When x is 1, I get a y value of -0.5. When x is 2, I get a y value of 1. When x is -1, I get a y value of -0.5. And when x is -2, I get a y value of 1. So now I have the points and I'm ready to plot them on the same coordinate plane. I'll plot them in red. I have a point at 0, -1. That's right here. I have a point at 1, -0.5, which is right about here. I have a point at 2, 1, which is right here. I have a point at -1, -0.5, which is right here, and a point at -2, 1, which is right here. So now I'll use these data points to fill in the graph, and you can see that it's looking like a parabola. So how many times do these two graphs intersect? Well, we have a point of intersection here and another one here. So that's 2 times. Letter B is correct. Thanks for watching.